Hello, viewers. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are from. This is Aijaz Qureshi, all the way from Toronto, Canada, with today's great episode of the Aijaz Qureshi Show. Happy Tuesday. And it's an honor, absolute honor, a pleasure to have such a wonderful guest on the show today that I met her a few years ago. And it was in Open Toronto, in Marriott Hotel, downtown Toronto, where I met her. She is such a wonderful person, such an amazing person. She hosted the whole event. Great personality, none other than Asifa Baig. Asifa Baig herself is by profession and education. She's a chartered accountant. She is from Toronto, Canada, and she is doing wonders in her field, as well as she is a business development coach. Let's welcome our esteemed guest, Asifa Baig. Assalamu alaikum, Asifa.
जी वालेकुम सलाम एजाज भाई, कैसे हैं आप?
अल्लाह का शुक्र है, मैं बिल्कुल ठीक ठाक हूँ. Thank you so much for giving us the honor to come on the show. Has been long that we connected, but we never got a chance to bring you on the show. But I'm really grateful to you. Thank you so much. So before we head to the topic, आपको आपके बचपन में ले जाना चाहता हूँ मैं. 3-4 साल, 5 साल. What is the earliest childhood memory that you recall, Asifa?
The earliest childhood memory that that's not fair. It's taking me back a long time.
I'm not going to ask you how long, but again.
I understand. The earliest childhood memories, it's very interesting because just recently, we've been going through a lot of family pictures, and there's so many treasures that come through those family pictures. And I always say, my husband always says to me, you have selective memory, jokes about it, but I truly don't have, like, I was born in Pakistan, so those 9 years, before coming to Canada, there's definitely a few. Yes, I was very young when I came to Canada.
That's early.
I can honestly say that other than my grandfather's house and one time getting in trouble for staying at my friend's way too late, and I don't have a huge amount of sort of specific memories, but here's the thing. There's this tug and pull for Pakistan, and I myself sometimes don't understand it because, I was so young when I came, and people don't get it sometimes, but it really is, I think it's an overall environment. At 9 I came here, so it kind of marked a huge event in my life. But before that, all I just remember is love, fun, and play. That's it.
That's it. Great, great, great. What is one thing that Asifa, what is one thing that you miss from Pakistan?
One thing that I miss from Pakistan. Because I'm always kind of double-minded when I, answer these questions, but I miss just sort of the casualness sometimes, where, there is something to be said for, having an affinity with people of your culture, your mother tongue. And even I remember when I came here, every time I would see somebody from back home, there was this sort of wanting to connect.
Right.
And so I think it's just an overall, the culture. And I really do believe that Pakistan, in so many ways, is such a distinguished and eloquent country and has so much to offer. So,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
food.
Great. Great. Awesome. Thank you so much. Let's take some comments. Muhammad Irfan is saying, very nice, good working. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Zina Tanjum is with us saying, this is amazing, mashallah. Thank you so much, Zina. Stay blessed. Zinat has been on the show as well. So thank you so much, Zina. Great. So you're an acclaimed chartered accountant, mashallah, in the area. And it really takes an arm and a leg to become a chartered accountant. A bit. Why did you choose accounting specifically? Do you love numbers?
Arm and a leg and blood, sweat, and tears, I would say.
Absolutely, it does. Yeah.
Why did I become a chartered accountant? To be honest, like when I went back to university, I had gotten married at a very young age, and decided, got married, had 3 children, and we were in a situation where our finances weren't necessarily where I wanted them to be, or it was tough. And I said to my husband, I said, what happened? I was always good in school. I coached all my friends and they're all doing reasonably well. Like, what happened? And I said, I think I want to go back to university. And he was amazing. He said, I'll support you, whatever we need to do. So I originally applied for computer science, but because the reason for going back to school was making money, right? At that time.
Yeah.
But it wasn't quite my thing. And I would say I fell upon the CA route almost quite accidentally. I was back in school because I wanted to be, sort of get back in the workforce and have a good job. But I'd always been good at, sort of, I guess, not that I love numbers or whatever, but it was just sometimes you have sort of a knack for something. And I was really, for the first year or so, struggling. I wrote the LSATs before I actually went the law school exams before I went the CA route. I think it was just destined to find it through the commerce program in UFT when I got back. So I can't say I wanted to be a CA all my life.
Awesome. All right. Great. But you're having fun with that qualification as well as working as a chartered accountant.
What it is, I believe education. Yes, so education, for one thing, the CA degree, I do believe it's a door opener. It really is, really doesn't leave many fields out. I can't do open heart surgery, but other than that. And the other thing is I find education, what it does is teach you some skills which are, which you can take anywhere, which is, critical thinking and analytical skills. And really now I've been able to take those skills and, I'm applying it in my own professional practice, but absolutely, I would not change it for anything. I am having fun.
Awesome. That's great. That's wonderful to know. My son-in-law, elder son-in-law is by profession, initially he was an electrical engineer. And then he suddenly decided to leave that he did the degree from U of T. And then he suddenly decided to pursue a chartered accountancy. And he's a CA, so a very rare combination, an engineer and a CA. But he's doing very well. He's a partner in a firm, and he's having fun. He doesn't want to go back. So same thing with you. Whoever is hooked up into the CA, CPA kind of thing, never wants to go back. There's so much fun in there.
I'll just say one thing. It does like that. Many careers, like more the technical or professional, whether it be engineering, whether it be a doctor, whether it be dentist, any of these. So often, sometimes what amazing skills, very valuable skills, but often what sometimes those individuals are missing are the business side, right?
Yes,
So,
exactly.
so if you can actually take one of those skills and marry it with the business side, you
Oh my
are way,
goodness. That's
way,
it.
you know, the value is out there.
Exactly.
It's incredible. Yes. So I can
Exactly.
see why you would be doing very well, mashallah.
Awesome. Awesome. That's great. Thank you so much. So let's head to the topic. Thriving in the new economy. New economy is certainly new now because the COVID, because of these challenges, lockdowns, and everything has changed, and there are very, you know, several layoffs and things like that. People are reducing their footprint for whatever reason. Offices being shut down. People are asked to work from home. Because it's a lot easier, there are less OPEX and other stuff. So the economy has really changed, and I think it's a need of the time to talk about this topic. And you picked up a great topic. How do we thrive in this new economy that is imposed upon us? Actually, we didn't want it that way, but it has been imposed upon us. And I'm not sure if people remember, but whoever has been with me for long, I told in like several years ago, a long time ago, that these malls will disappear eventually. And that technically happened in COVID. I mean, how many of us went to the malls?
Um,
So, how do we thrive in this economy? That's the question, right?
so absolutely, and your prediction wasn't wrong or off. And here's what I say: there's a saying that says, "Don't ever waste a crisis."
No,
When you say, because
exactly.
with every challenge comes opportunities, and here, you know, in terms of, you said, you know, this has been imposed upon us. Well, perhaps, have you noticed how we are so much more effective and so much more productive when we are under pressure, right? And so sometimes we need things imposed upon us for us to do things that we need to do anyways, but we are doing them at a pace that is almost, I would say, unacceptable. So
Right.
I used to as well look at, you know, Walmarts and these stores, half the, you know, the size of small cities, really, for all intents and purposes.
Yes.
And you know, I used to look at office buildings, like, you know, I was working in the government for 16 years
Hmm.
prior to now, you know, having started my own practice, and I had negotiated, you know, working from home 2, sometimes 3 days a week, and I did not want to give that up for anything, right? क्योंकि वो
Yes.
आपको एक दफा उसकी आदत हो जाए तो फिर आप
Oh, फिर नहीं
नहीं आपको
जाती. बिल्कुल,
so
बिल्कुल.
so you know, and I always used to say that I do not understand what is the purpose कि हमने लोगों को 9 to 5 इतनी जो सबसे expensive real estate and down उसमें बिठाया होता है 9 to 5 when our biggest asset, which is our homes, is, you know, laying barren, wasted all day long. That isn't there some way we could work out a way to work from home, and perhaps the company just started to pay us for using our home office and, you know, internet and all that. So, and then also schools, right? Also, it's not so much I don't believe kids need to be in school and, you know, that social aspect and, you know, interaction with other kids. But when you look at like the different boards, the different, you know, all like the infrastructure that goes behind having, you know, kids in school in the way that we currently did, that, you know, couldn't there be a better way, right? And
True.
so, but the thing is, हमने वो आराम से तो these changes were not going to happen, you know, just because there's so many people that resisted, you know,
True.
managers that resisted their people working from home. They just were not
Exactly.
comfortable. So what this has done is push that digital, it's that digital transformation has pushed, you know, at an exponential speed. And yes, there's going to be a lot of sort of, you know, impacts. But the other thing is, the other side is, you know, I believe we live in a very inefficient world, right? If you just
True.
think of this, if you think of, you know, online shopping is a lot more efficient. You know, we may like
It
to
is.
touch and feel still things sometimes,
Nothing.
but
Exactly. You just pick the item, click on it, and it's one click purchase. And then it shows up next morning at your door, and that's pretty much it. And you can return in 1 month. Even if you open it or do whatever you want, there's no questions asked about return and things like that.
so I believe exactly. I believe that, you know, these things needed to happen. Like, you know, when we don't have enough residential space and prices are through the roof, right? And we've got all this expensive commercial real estate being used for things which technically can be done from the home or online. Like, you know, it really takes thinking like beyond what is just sort of, you know, जो हमारा apparently आपके आगे है कि job loss हो रही है, ये हो रहा है. You know, governments have to rethink, like governments have to rethink actually even, I would say, you know, taxation models because of this whole thing. And governments
Bilkul.
have to think about, you know, they talk about the surge or the emergency, you know, response benefit that, you know, can that be, you know, can that be the way we do things now going forward? And everybody would say, well, how can that be possible? But, you know, there is literally, you know, nearly 100 programs that can be, you know, sort of programs which are meant to help people with finances, which could be eliminated and this one implemented. So there are so many opportunities, and you know, we can talk about a few others in terms of, you know, the bigger picture and then the smaller picture. But just, I believe this economy, you know, the COVID, I don't like wearing a mask, you know, but it definitely has, you know, caused things to happen which were just taking way too long to happen. They say with the digital revolution and artificial intelligence, the fourth industrial revolution, you know, by the year 2030, nearly half of the world's population is going to be out of work. You know, so we need to start thinking at completely different levels, and we can't afford these inefficiencies, you know, which basically were in the current system. So I think there are, you know, there's definitely on the trade level, there's huge opportunities, and, you know, we can talk about some of that as well. Do you agree, though? You're right.
Let's read some comments here. Fahad Iqbal is our brother and friend from Toronto area. You know him as well, and great information security. He specializes in financial institutions, IT security as well. He's saying my elder sister, okay. I don't know, how old are you, Fahad Iqbal bhai? किसी खातून को एल्डर कहना जो है वो उसकी डिसरिस्पेक्ट होती है. I'm just kidding.
There's something I haven't shared, and there's something I haven't shared, Jasmine. Actually, I'm a very proud grandmother of 3 grandkids. So.
Mashallah, I did not know that. ठीक है, तो माशाल्लाह, congratulations. Fahad bhai, ठीक है. Then you can say that. Now she committed online, so it's okay. Karen, she's doing an amazing job. I would highly recommend if you want to get accounting services. Very वाह, क्या बात है जनाब, ये तो बड़ा जबरदस्त. Is this a paid advertisement, Asifa, or what? फहद भाई, मैं तो एजाज क्रेशी शो पे लाइव जा रहा हूँ, जरा आ जाना यार, एक 2 कमेंट कर देना आकर.
एक्चुअली फहद में बहुत दफा मिल चुके हैं, क्योंकि ये जो काम कर रहे हैं ना साइबर सिक्योरिटी के, again, when we talk about efficiencies, right?
Yes.
So much of the stuff that we do when it comes to, you know, sort of our privacy being confidentiality, privacy being compromised online, when we're reactive, it costs a lot more to fix things than to be a little bit proactive, spend a little bit, and, you know, it's so Fahad is also doing great work.
Exactly. Mashallah, that's great. I have another comment from our mutual friend, and I hope you know him as well. Great person from Ottawa. Tafsiruddin Bhai runs the ICT forum, mashallah, doing great. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam, Tafsir Bhai. Bahut shukriya. And actually, Tafsir Bhai is the person who can be blamed, who introduced me to Open Toronto. And that's how exactly, that's how you and I met. And it was an amazing event, actually. I mean, you're an amazing host. Beside being a mom and a grandmother of three, now you mentioned that. I'll keep reminding you throughout the show. And so he mentioned about Open, and I think even he paid my fees. There is a little fee that you guys charge and Open. So he paid those fees and said, "I'm coming from Ottawa. Why don't you are in Toronto? So why don't you hop on there?" And it was wonderful. I really enjoyed meeting people. I think that was the very beginning of my social media career, and it was amazing. So yeah. Thank you so much.
It was. I think. Yes, so then I will thank Asifa for introducing us for sure, absolutely. And you know, I remember you at that time. Remember you that day? You were there with the camera, and we didn't quite know 100% what you were up to. But let me tell you, they always say there's this. I have digital mentors that I listen to, and they say, don't wait for permission to go do the unthinkable. Actually, it's a phrase that says, don't wait for science to give you permission to go do the unthinkable. Do it, and then let science come and study you. So that day when you were there with your camera, I think, generally when you have events like that, you're wanting to invite the big stations and stuff, right? Established studio, like networks and stuff. But you were there with your camera, and I truly believe, looking back, that the footage that was there after the event was pretty well all from you, and you did a fantastic job. So,
thank you.
And yeah, that was the first time I met you, and I was also saying, who is this gentleman?
Thank you. Thank you.
It was a very good event. It was, may I, if I just, be open?
Please, please.
Open, I was introduced to it about 2-3 years ago. It stands for the Organization of Pakistani Entrepreneurs. Started out as like North America. It's a global network, extremely successful, Pakistani entrepreneurs there. And when I went, I kind of, I love anything entrepreneurship. I love pushing the boundaries. I love, so we did a lot of, I was on the board of directors for 2 years, and now I'm a chartered member. So now there's, last count there was 14 chapters around the world. Wow. And it's a great place to connect, and it really is about entrepreneurship. That particular event was when I believe it was the KPK government and the World Bank were there, and what they were doing was proposing Pakistan to be used as sort of an outsourcing, facility for firms here in different industries, and it was very successful. It was very successful. So Open does great work to bring the Pakistani community together from an entrepreneurship perspective and professionals. But it inevitably we all deal with we live in Canada. We all deal with our clients, our suppliers. They're all different nationalities, different industries. So it does, end up bringing a lot of different people together, but it's a fantastic venue, actually.
Absolutely, it is. It is. Thank you so much. Well. And from there, I connected with so many people. It was really wonderful. Thank you so much for holding those events. Dr. Wahid Haroon with us from Karachi, fighting in the hospital and working for Corona patients. Salams to all from Karachi. Thank you so much, Dr. Saab. It's really a pleasure to see you here. Tafsir Bhai is saying, can you help a Pakistani company who is signing joint venture? Absolutely. Why not? Why not? Absolutely. Yeah. The Canadian company. Absolutely. Why not? I mean, Tafsir Bhai, you don't have to ask. You just have to ask. To act, actually. Yes, absolutely. And want to open a company here? Absolutely. Why not? Asifa is always available for these. question to Asfa. Yeah, I understand. तफसीर है मुझसे तो आप कंपनी खोलने का पूछने से रहे जाहिर आसफा से ही पूछेंगे.
Actually, to both of you, sir, like I'm working on quite a few sort of cross-border, I guess, negotiations with a number of different companies, and it's very interesting. Right from when I was young, my dream was, somebody used to say, oh, my parents are traveling for business, and I would be like, where do they work? Where do they work? Because it was like business and traveling was sort of my, just
True.
this passion. And so I'm so excited because yes, the practice is taking me to work on many different such arrangements, and absolutely,
Awesome.
here to support in any way that I can.
There you go, Tafsir Bhai. So you have the answer. Great. So let's head back to the topic. What else we need to do to thrive, and then we'll talk about a conscious entrepreneurship after that. So let's talk about what challenges the current economies have, be it Canada, Pakistan, or wherever. I think COVID has impacted the entire world in a uniform way. No nation or no country is left behind, I would say. Exactly, almost every country faced in a way or the other COVID impact. So let's exhaust this part of the topic, and then we'll come back to the conscious economy.
Yes, I think one of the things that we're finding, while I myself am also working on a digital platform for promoting exports and business. And actually, we're making really good progress on that. Starting with Pakistan and the Lahore Chamber of Commerce taking the lead. So we're doing some great work on that in terms of upskilling companies for exportability. But what is also sort of as a, call it a side benefit, it's all perspective, right? Are we going to look at it as a negative thing, or are we going to look at it as something that's positive and move forward? So another thing that's happening right now is that the look more towards regionalization as opposed to globalization. Because we realized during this process that things can be shut down pretty quickly. If our supply chains are not near us, we are in trouble, and we've seen that happen through this process. So I think there's a lot of, like I said, this platform that we're working on, while it will support exports, there's also huge opportunity for domestic market, sort of.
Viewers, we have some network issues. Apologies for that. As soon as the network stabilizes, we'll be continuing our discussion with Asfa. I think it's just the network is heavily used these days. So apologies for this interruption. But again, this thing happens in online shows. We can't really avoid these things. So let's see. Asfa is here.
Well, the other extreme is people are I think people are done with sort of the artificial in terms of when we are consuming different things, when we're using different things. People are looking for more the artisan, more the, how can you create something that's more for me, that's holistic. So while we are having this incredible digital revolution on one side, people are also coming back to, you know what, I just want a very simple life. I want, if COVID made us realize anything, it made us realize, the importance of, by hook or by crook, we got to spend more time with our families. We were stopped from doing a lot of that extra stuff that kept us busy. And, a lot of people are saying, hey, this is the first time I've actually had time to focus on my health. I've actually had time to maybe, read a book again, look at hobbies, And so I'm not here to say that there aren't going to be the financial challenges that are coming along with COVID,
There
but
will
for the
be.
most part, at a global economic level, at a
Mm,
national economic level, these payments that are going out to individuals, they have to be somehow made up and compensated. And I don't think there is the appetite just to say more taxes, more taxes, more taxes. And that's where really, times like this really are an opportunity for new governments and people with new ideas to come forward and say, we think we can do this different. And so I really think that sort of shift towards, yes, exports will continue, but that dependency on, like, how we have, whether it's China, whether the US, I'm not here to have, political discussion right now, but those, when you have like too much dependency on one partner, one resource, one whatever, we definitely see that, now that needs to be broadened. And that's why actually, even in Pakistan, and this is a beautiful scenario right now for Pakistan, because Pakistan has 220 million people in an area smaller than the size of Ontario.
mhm.
So in terms of the potential for market, if you want to market anything, um, so many ways we're sitting on a gold mine. So I really think yes, there's the digital opportunities, because everything is going in. I don't know if we heard, like, but I really believe those skills need to start from as we teach our kids English and, math and basics of science, the computers, and, that needs to start right from the beginning. But then there's also this market, this emerging, where people are getting the opportunity to create niche products, specialized
Absolutely.
products, and there's a market. People are willing to pay a little bit more for better quality, for something that seems like it's more custom to me. So there's huge different amounts of opportunities, but I definitely think we're going to see a huge shift from just exports, exports, exports. There's a lot that can be developed in the local economies as well.
Awesome. Awesome. That's great. Thank you so much for shedding light on that, Asfa. Now, as you and I mentioned, that lots of companies are scaling themselves down, restructuring, resizing, whatever you want to call it, and lots of people are being laid off, sent back home due to various reasons. There is not enough demand of the services or products in the market, or what have you. Now, the next part of the topic is conscious entrepreneurship. So I think in my previous shows we have definitely suggested to viewers that entrepreneurship is something that it doesn't have to be $1 million-billion entrepreneurship. You can be a rediwala and you are still called an entrepreneur, because that's a business, right? So that's how the people will make their living in future. So what do you say? What is a conscious entrepreneurship that we should really be focusing on and creating new ways for our earnings?
So conscious entrepreneurship, and absolutely, I think a great person from Open Toronto, he said that entrepreneurship it's not something necessarily that can be taught in school. Find a problem and go fix it. And believe me, so there's plenty of problems. When we look around, go find a solution, and then there will be value that will be created. And conscious entrepreneurship, there's different levels of it, right? So there are levels at which, it's at a more, whether we're talking about the environment, whether we're talking about, humanity as a whole, right? So in terms of, as opposed to sort of, the conscious entrepreneurship is not a new concept, but I think these days we have to think about it even more, that what is our footprint that we're leaving behind, and whether that could be environmentally, whether that could be like, and just like these decisions come back to our lives on a daily basis. Like, so now I am running a practice. I don't have the luxury or the privilege of having, you know, um, well, the paycheck I did, very nice paycheck I did have coming in before. So
Right.
I really have been challenged to sort of, think out of the box. How do I want to grow my practice? And there's a lot of people through this time where they have done as much as they can to try and retain their employees, and rather than just like there's people who found it difficult to keep their businesses open. Thank goodness the government has come with the supports that it has for businesses and individuals. But really is, it makes, for me, of course, we need to look at, I always look at it this way. If I'm going to make a dollar, do I need to make that dollar, or can I still make 80%? Do the, 80 cents, do the right thing and still be able to survive and thrive on
Yes.
the 80 cents? Most likely, yes. And
True.
that comes, a lot of that, these things are so interlinked, right? They're so integrated. इसमें ये है कि जो अब मतलब, with digital, I mean, our overheads eventually should go down, right?
Bilkul.
The cost of living should eventually go down, right? Because if you think about it, like, we are time starved, right? Everybody, because we're working like crazy to pay these mortgages and these bills. But truly, if, these organizations, call it the banks, call it, whatever, like we're talking, let's just even talk about like the Amazons and the Ubers and all of that, right? All of this stuff now, what it does do, it takes inefficiencies out of the system, but unfortunately, sometimes what's also happening is wealth is getting more and more consolidated in fewer hands, right?
True.
So now it really comes back to, if these companies can truly lower their costs, right? Lower their cost of production, lower their cost of operations because of robotics, because of, digitalization, then there needs to be some mechanism that can, and it isn't just up to business. It's a partnership between business and government. How do we do it so that, introducing technology doesn't mean that we leave, carnage in the back of the industries we are disrupting? How do we share those, share the wealth amongst like the average people, who there are going to be a lot of people who are going to be losing their jobs, who are not going to be able to retrain themselves in time. So those questions come back to the biggest boardrooms. But then at my level, they come back to, at each individual level, we all have to think about what we can do. I think we have to be responsible. We have to be in control of our own finances, not spend frivolously when we have it. It's like boom or bust, right? And it impacts the decisions I make on a daily basis, what I'm going to charge my clients. For me, if there's, like, for me, the most important thing is to be caught up on your taxes, on your finances and stuff, because it starts to impact you in terms of who you are. And there's a lot of people that will come and that don't have the kind of money I really should be charging for cleaning up for some of that mess. But, it's saying, you know what, it's okay. I will make it on a different file, and it really is about helping people and us starting to think. I think conscious entrepreneurship is, here's a challenge. Whoever said that we were all supposed to be different just because we live in geographically different places, right? We are all one creation, and it really is, what do you think about before you're thinking about your profits, about doing the right thing when it comes, whether it's the environment, whether it's helping people. So there's so many aspects of it, but I really do think that it's, the responsibility comes down to each individual to say, how do I give back, and not just on a voluntary basis, but how do I give back for my business even?
True. You're really right. A few more comments. We have Dr. Vaid Arun saying, Ms. Asifa, is there any internship or observership program in Canada for Pakistani entrepreneurs?
For Pakistan, internship or, okay, so that's a little bit of a different question. Internship. I know there's definitely, there's definitely, if people are looking to come to Canada, there's all the immigration avenues and the sort of entrepreneurship vehicles attached to those. I think, and I won't say in case there are any out there and I'm not just right away familiar with it, we can definitely look, but through most of the professional organizations, so whether it's there's CPA Ontario, there's CPA Ontario, CPA Canada, I mean, and sir, your doctor, first of all, thank you for all the good work that you're doing. And, through the professional organizations, there's a lot that's happening for, having people be able to have the mobility to go to different countries and not have to start over again. So I think we would need to look at like sort of profession specific or industry specific, but there is definitely, there's fast tracking that's happening on the immigration files. When people have the technical skills or an entrepreneurship idea, they can be here very quickly. I think sort of if I'm getting the question right, it's most likely going to happen through sort of the professional organizations where alignments can be made with companies in the same area. Other than that, here's the thing: we are so lucky. So many of my great collaborators, or I just call them, like, I have a lot of digital mentors, LinkedIn, Facebook, all of this. It doesn't hurt to connect with people.
Reach out to those people, exactly. Yeah.
Something that you're interested in, and truly, if immigration is not the only sort of objective behind it, then there's no reason that mentorship and sort of the same what are we calling it, internship cannot happen remotely and digitally. Like, I'm also now starting to look at, I want to grow my practice. I'm in the process of registering my firm in Pakistan. How do I start to do that? And it's all, especially now in today's environment, it's all going to happen digitally, at least to start with.
Right. Great answer. Thank you so much. A couple of more comments from another great friend, Faisal Yaqub, is saying, ma'am, what are the consequences of Chinese impact on the global economy? Can we expect China for the next economic superpower as the superpower? If China will be the next economic superpower, then how it will affect the interest of the Pakistani economy?
Well, I don't propose to be an expert, but here's the thing. From what I understand, the China and Pakistan relationship is very good and very helpful for Pakistan right now.
Yes.
And, right, so while there's so much negativity, of course, the superpowers are trying to, remain super. So, while there's this huge rift between the US and China, the thing is, I look at it this way. I think, how, and again, like I said, I don't propose to be an expert, but how are they doing things? Like, I look at CPEC, and of course, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, and while there are huge, there's so many supporters, there's a lot of people who have negative things to say about that as well. And I look at it this way: absolutely, what China has done about bringing its, millions and millions of people out of poverty, right? Like, they're a force to be reckoned with. And I honestly, I have faith in our great leader that, he is looking at all the different aspects of the relationship and seeing that it would definitely not hurt Pakistan, right? It would be in Pakistan's favor. And just as a sort of a high level observation, I would say, one of the things that I was looking at, and it may be a bit sideline, I was looking at the fact that Pakistan, right? And I just Googled it because Pakistan it's one of the youngest countries, and we have one of the largest youth populations. Right?
Absolutely.
Right, we have one of the youngest youth populations. So as I saw that, though, as I did that search, I saw where Pakistan was falling, but I also saw all the other countries, right, on top of it. And just as with so many other things, like in terms of natural resources, in terms of that, where a lot of those countries were? They were all the African countries, right?
Mm-hmm.
That also have the youth population. So I kind of looked at it and go, I don't understand why, countries that have fantastic populations, countries that have fantastic resources, countries that have, everything available available to them in terms of geography and everything else, why they're starving and struggling. And you know what? It just seems like the way China is doing things is at least it's bringing sort of prosperity and an upliftment of the integrity of the local populations as well, right?
Right.
Because
Exactly.
there's no reason that, because in the past either we've had leaders, unfortunately, who I'm not just talking about Pakistan, obviously all these other countries too, who have everything that it could take, to be superpowers themselves, yet they are destitute. It's because of leadership, and it's because of, hey, if we need help from outside countries, if we start to think like a global village, then from what I understand, and I'm sure I'm going to get lots of flack from this, let's do it in a way where we are empowering the countries that we are working in and their people as well, as opposed to just take everything out of those countries and leave those people like destitute.
Absolutely, absolutely. A few more comments, friends. I'm going to take all your comments. There are comments from Hassan Sayyid Bhai, Salma Khan. There are comments, but definitely I'll come to those. Next comment from Faisal Yaqub, a regular viewer friend, is my second question is why the US always tries to push back the Chinese economy by imposing different economic and political sanctions on Chinese companies. Why don't both countries try to work in a collaborative sense in the interest of global economic welfare? I think it's a great question that came to my mind as well, that why these disruptions are there. Trump government is not pro-Chinese, although China holds a big chunk of the market and manufacturing and everything. Pretty much everything has a sticker that says "Made in China." So very seldom we see made elsewhere. So I'm not sure why this is going. Great question, Faisal. What would you say, Asifa?
Well, I would say as long as we as a people believe there isn't enough, in the world, that God has, we live in a world of scarcity, right? Then it's protectionism. It's I am the superpower. I want to remain the superpower because I need these resources for myself and my people.
Right.
When I completely believe that at the highest of levels, whether it's we're talking about, I'm sorry, even these leaders, and even the elite class, the rich, the 1% of the population that owns 99% of the wealth. There's going to start to get into a little bit of a different area, which is really a cross between, I have something I've written called Bridging Facts, Science, Spirituality, and Who We Are. And, everything we are living in this capitalistic world, it's been based on the theory, of survival of the fittest, right?
Absolutely.
Right? And, if we understand...
It always has been like that, Asifa, wasn't it?
Well, but it doesn't need to be, because if we truly, I believe we have misinformation and, conversation for another day, but do you know, Aijaz Qureshi, they say that God has given us the power to create whatever we want.
Absolutely.
And this goes way beyond, this starts to come back to our conscious mind. This starts to come back to our faith that, literally, if we think there isn't enough, we are going to hoard. We think we are, I need to self-preservation, but it's completely wrong. If we look at some of the biggest things, is food. Why are like nearly 900 million people starving around the world when we, the amount of food we waste could feed the hungry 2 times over every year, right?
Yeah.
So I believe that while this is the other thing, I don't think I mentioned it at all in my introduction. Like, I have a background in enterprise risk management, integrated enterprise risk management.
Awesome.
And, I believe that nobody is looking at the full picture of what we're dealing with. Because if we were truly to look at the full picture, whether it's, food security, water security, energy security, like, all of these things, if we just one problem fix the food security issue, our water security problem goes away, our energy security problem goes away. There's so much. So I believe while there are a lot of people with good intentions doing the, trying to do the right thing, nobody has. I'm also working on something called the Global Wellness Target, the Return on Humanity Framework. It's supposed to be a complementary framework.
Viewers, we have network issues again.
Picture. And once we start to see that there really is more than enough resources, we are completely mismanaging it, and part of it is because of a lack of information, a lack of desire, and, sort of, like I said, this philosophy that we've built our entire financial structures on, which is, Darwin's survival of the fittest, which is about, competition, scarcity, competition, and aggression, whereas God's laws are designed for abundance, love, joy, and mutual aid. So it's lots of topics for, more discussion, but first of all, I think they're misguided. Second, I think, of course, under the current circumstances, they're trying to preserve their own supremacy. But it completely is unnecessary if we truly understand how God's created. We only know, we really just know gravity, light, and sound, right?
That's it, exactly. Yeah.
There's a couple of other, there's more, but the law of attraction, the law of vibration, there's something that goes not for, it's an awakening of who we are, and not me, it's about we. And then once we start to see those, all of our issues can go away. But I'll just say one thing, that with all of that, people think, oh yeah, so I'm just going to sit here, feel good, positive, meditate, everything will be good. It doesn't work like that. And I feel like part of what my role is, why I think I can have an impact is, you see, because we live in this ownership structure, as we move towards this new economy, we actually have to have new value creation models, new taxation models, new wealth distribution models that will help us transition to this place where we no longer have to kill each other just for thinking that we have to survive.
True. Well, I love to see the wealth sharing model, so definitely I would love to share some wealth. Thank you so much, Asifa, for that. Hassan Syed is the CEO and founder of Aijaz Pakistan. Great person, a friend, saying there is a program by Ryerson University for entrepreneurs called DMZ, Demilitarized Zone. Absolutely, it's amazing program. And Tafsir Bhai has, I think, introduced me to DMZ as well, because I think DMZ. He launched his ICT Forum second conference in there, and it was a great place. Amazing technology, amazing people. It's all about entrepreneurship, nothing but entrepreneurship. So thank you so much for mentioning that. Hassan Bhai is further saying that here is the list of all incubators offering entrepreneur visa program. So there is a link here, and thank you so much for sharing that. I really appreciate it. So I think this answers Dr. Waheed Haroon's question. Hassan Bhai, thank you so much for providing that. Really appreciate it. Salma Khan is our friend from Islamabad. She is a great Nathwa. She has been reciting Naths for many years, and a famous Nathwa on all television channels. She runs Nath Academy as well. So that's great. Assalamu alaikum, Aijaz Bhai. Wa alaikum assalam. Thank you so much, Salma Khan. Saying show is going nice. Thank you so much. Appreciate show goes nice because of two reasons I always say. One is our esteemed guests who come and give us great information about various topics, and the love from all the viewers, like such as yourself, Salma Khan, coming and liking and commenting. So thank you so much. Dr. Waheed Haroon is saying, nice show. Hi from my hospital colleagues. Salma. Salam from doctors of the Aga Khan University Hospital, Karachi. Thank you so much, Dr. A really pleasure, and our walaikum assalam and peace and blessings to all the frontline workers and doctors, nurses, paramedics, and everyone else who is trying to help the hospitals run smoothly in these pandemic days. So thank you so much. You are a hero, and we salute you all.
Absolutely.
And thanking Hassan Saab. Thank you so much, Bhai Karun Bhai. बहुत शुक्रिया आपका. Great. So I think we exhausted both the segments of the topic. Aswa, did you have anything else to add, or we can hop on to the next segment now?
I think I'm good. I think I would just say that, patience and optimism are probably, we get very impatient on a daily basis, with whatever we undertake, right? I do as well. And then I just have to remind myself, really, I think we're spiritual beings. And, at the end of the day, there is someone, I believe, in control, who knows what he's doing. And so during this difficult time, dig deep within, and what do you love, what gives you, what's your passion, what makes you feel good, and follow that. And inshallah, within that somewhere there will be hopefully an entrepreneurship opportunity or some way for you to give back.
Absolutely, absolutely. Great thoughts. Thank you so much, Asfa, for great discussion. Now we hop on to the next segment, which is U and Q. Q for Qureshi.
Okay.
All right. So there will be two multiple choice questions, and there will be a rapid fire. So I'm going to give you a word. So whatever comes to your mind after hearing that word, you have to speak out quickly and uncensored. So you don't have to think. It's just it has to be like XM4, just like that. All right. So Pakistani film producer, one of the producers, have decided to take a grandma from Toronto as a heroine in their film. All right, and you are that one. So you have been casted. You have been casted a heroine in a film, and now you have to pick a hero. I'm not sure how many heroes from Pakistan you know, because you came to Toronto at early age. But let's try this. Let's try this. I'm sure that you watch TV and Pakistani films, and you're connected somehow.
I'm so bad with names. So the only name that comes to mind, and I love some of his acting, is Noman Aijaz. How's that?
Noman Aijaz, okay. And unfortunately, Noman Aijaz is not in our list, okay? So yeah, he's a great actor. I love him as well. Not only because of his acting, but he shares my name as well. So
yeah. He's not I'm sorry, I don't see a list.
So here are 5 names that you can pick and choose from. That you might recall. Okay, you cannot pick your husband though in this film. So exactly. So first name is Fawad Khan, then Hamza Ali Abbasi, Ehsan Khan, Imran Abbas, and Faisal Qureshi. Have you heard any of these names?
Hamza.
Hamza Ali Abbasi, the beautiful one. Yes. Thank you. The next question is, you're still the heroine of the same film, and now you're given a chance to pick a side heroine. So you cannot pick your bestie, but I'll give you 5 names. I'm sure that you would know one of these. Sanam Baloch, Mavra, Mahira Khan, Saba Kamar, or Mehwish Hayat Khan. Who would you pick?
I kind of like Mehwish.
Mehwish. You like Mehwish, okay? All right, Mehwish Hayat Khan it is then. All right, let's move to the rapid fire. Friends, your comments are there. I'm going to pick them, but we need a continuation in this segment. So after we are done with this segment, then we'll come to your comments as well. So the first word, Aswa, is ghar.
Ghar?
Ghar. क्या आता है जहन में घर का लफ्ज सुन के?
मेरा पहला जो लफ्ज आया था मकान.
मकान. मकान आया था. ठीक है. चाय.
Favorite cup.
Favorite cup. क्या बात है. अच्छा, कप फेवरेट है आपका या चाय का कप फेवरेट? नहीं.
चाय अच्छी हो, कप सही ना हो, मैं नहीं पीऊंगी.
नहीं पिएंगी. फेवरेट कप में चाय होनी चाहिए. क्या बात है. बहुत जबरदस्त. Next word
I'm
है.
very picky about the ones I drink it.
Yeah, क्या बात है. क्या बात है. Next word है हवा.
Sorry, सुना नहीं.
हवा, एयर।
थोड़ी सी बीच में कट हुआ।
हाँ, हवा जो हम ब्रीथ करते हैं, एयर।
एजाज भाई क्लियर?
आपको लग रहा है कि आवाज नहीं आ रही है, आवाज नहीं आ रही है आपको आसपास?
आ रही है, लेकिन नफस कहते हैं तो कट हो जाता है दोबारा एक दफा के।
हाँ, हवा, एयर।
हवा, हवा,
जी।
लाइफ,
लाइफ, क्या बात है, जिंदगी, बिल्कुल ठीक है। घोड़ा,
गधा,
गधा। घोड़ा और गधा, ठीक है। अगला लफ्ज है, ठीक है, अगला लफ्ज है पहाड़।
कायनात,
कायनात, क्या बात है। अगला लफ्ज है बिरयानी।
बिरयानी, वो छोटी सी बच्ची आजकल कमर्शियल पे आती है, वो कहती है बिरयानी, मुझे वो इतनी क्यूट लगती है। मुझे वो बच्ची याद आ जाती है जब मैं वो
बच्ची याद आती है वो,
बिरयानी।
ठीक। ठीक है, बिल्कुल ठीक है। अगला लफ्ज है फूल, फ्लावर।
फ्रेग्रेंस,
फ्रेग्रेंस, ठीक है। फिर अगला लफ्ज है चमचा।
कौन? किसका?
नहीं, अब ये तो आपने बताना है ना। चमचा मगर किसका? ठीक है। अ,
We'll leave it at that.
ठीक है,
By the
अगला
way,
लफ्ज,
मुझे चमचा ज्यादा पसंद है।
चमचे ज्यादा पसंद है। अच्छा, अगला लफ्ज है दोस्त।
um, complete, complete, अच्छा दोस्त हो तो you
जिंदगी
feel,
कंप्लीट हो जाती है, क्या बात है, बहुत सही। पड़ोसन।
पड़ोसन,
हाँ, पड़ोसन, पड़ोसी नहीं, पड़ोसन।
पड़ोसन, binoculars,
अच्छा, इसी से मिलते जुलता हमारी को होस्ट है सदाकत मुबीन इस्लामाबाद से। जब मैंने उनसे ये पहले शो में पूछा कि पड़ोसन, तो उन्होंने कहा सीसीटीवी कैमरा। तो वो अभी तक, और आपका जवाब जो है वो उसी से मिलता जुलता है, सो थैंक यू सो मच फॉर दैट। अगला लफ्ज है मोहब्बत।
God, खुदा,
गॉड, खुदा से, क्या बात है, बहुत जबरदस्त। उसके बाद अगला लफ्ज है उल्लू, हाउल।
हाँ,
उल्लू।
उल्लू,
हाँ,
like आलू, उल्लू,
हाँ, हाँ, बनाती होंगी आप।
उल्लू। um, observation.
ऑब्जर्वेशन, ठीक है, देखता रहता है, ठीक है, बिल्कुल
हाँ,
सही है।
लगता है।
हाँ, अगला लफ्ज है
मैं किसी का
कामयाबी।
नाम नहीं कहती, नहीं तो I'll be in trouble.
अगला लफ्ज है कामयाबी।
um, freedom.
फ्रीडम, ठीक है। यानी फ्रीडम मिल जाए तो कामयाब।
नहीं, जब आपको कामयाबी मिले तो आपको ऐसे लगता है कि जैसे आप फ्री हो गए हो।
फ्री हो गए, ठीक है, बिल्कुल सही है।
It's
कहानी।
not necessarily the best, लेकिन उसमें I think most of us are definitely, इवन तो हमें नहीं करना चाहिए, लेकिन ये है
हम्म,
कि हम मेरे ख्याल से इक्वेट करते हैं कि जब कोई
ठीक,
हम चीज अचीव करना चाहें तो हम फ्री हो जाएंगे। काफी
बिल्कुल
हद तक सही भी है, लेकिन
ठीक।
और जरूरी
ठीक,
भी है चीजें के
बिल्कुल।
हवाले से।
अगला लफ्ज आसफा है कहानी।
कहानी, याद रखो ताकि डोंट फॉरगेट, एक कहानी किसी को बताई भूल ना जाना नेक्स्ट
याद रखनी चाहिए, कहानी याद रखनी चाहिए, बिल्कुल ठीक है।
अपनी
अग,
कहानियां याद रखें।
हाँ, अच्छा, अगला लफ्ज है गधा।
गधा,
जी।
हम्म, मुझे तो बड़े क्यूट लगते हैं, लेकिन
क्यूट लगते हैं आपको, अच्छी
बी
बात है।
केयरफुल, आजकल
बी
केयरफुल, क्योंकि आजकल कहते हैं ना कि गधे सर्व भी हो रहे हैं पाकिस्तान में।
हाँ बिल्कुल, बी केयरफुल, ठीक है। सांस।
केयरफुल।
सांस जो हम ब्रीथ करते हैं।
सांस,
जी।
सांस अगेन आई थिंक एहसास, इट्स सांस एक एहसास है।
एहसास है, बिल्कुल ठीक है, बिल्कुल ठीक है। सांवला।
सांवला, कलर।
जी, कलर। नहीं, उधर ना करें इशारा, इधर, ये ऐसा। ऐसा, जैसा कि मैं।
सलोनी।
सलोनी, सांवली सलोनी, अच्छा ठीक है जी। अगला लफ्ज है कलम, पेन।
पेन, पावर।
पावर, बिल्कुल ठीक है। अगला लफ्ज है सास, मदर इन लॉ।
सास, मदर इन लॉ। मैं तो भी ये कहूंगी, I'm so sorry, Allah बख्शे मेरी, my mother-in-law just passed away. She was quite an incredible lady, and it's so funny. मैं कहती हूँ, can I just say something, Ijaz bhai?
हाँ हाँ,
You know,
प्लीज।
अगर हम देखें कि एक, I mean, हम बात क्या कर रहे हैं, पोटेंशियल की बात कर रहे हैं ना इस वक्त। तो आप कभी किसी को देखो, एक्चुअली दो मेरे याद आती है। एक, my mother-in-law, she was such a incredible woman, but she grew up in Pakistan and never had the opportunity for her to develop into, I think, who she could have been. और second, वो जो आपको नेशनल जियोग्राफिक के याद है, वो जो एक लड़की थी ग्रीन आंखों वाली, बहुत देर
हाँ
पहले
हाँ,
नेशनल,
या।
उसको जब मैंने देखा ना बहुत साल बाद, तो मैंने कहा कि ओ माय गॉड, कि मतलब जिनके पास अपॉर्चुनिटी होती है वो क्या से क्या बन जाते हैं, और जिनके पास नहीं होती वो उनका क्या होता है। एंड आई थिंक दैट्स व्हाई लाइक दिस होल थिंग अबाउट empowering others is so important. But possibility, so let's just leave thoughts at possibility.
पॉसिबिलिटीज। वैसे आपकी सास के लिए इन्ना लिल्लाहि व इन्ना इलैहि राजिऊन, अल्लाह ताला उनके दर्जात बुलंद करे और जन्नत में आला से आला मुकाम अता फरमाए। हमारी ये दुआएं और नेक तमन्नाएं उनके लिए और आपकी फैमिली के लिए।
Thank you.
बहुत शुक्रिया। अगला लफ्ज है सुकून, पीस।
Everything, क्योंकि जब आप सुकून में हो तो आपके पास सब कुछ आ जाता है।
ठीक है। रूह,
You are
सोल।
जी,
रूह, सोल।
infinite. I believe
इन्फिनिट, हाँ बिल्कुल, इन्फिनिट, ट्रू ट्रू ट्रू, बिल्कुल।
ये आजकल बहुत
चालाक,
टॉपिक है ना।
हाँ।
सॉरी,
चालाकी।
नेक्स्ट क्या? चालाकी मेरे में नहीं।
आप में नहीं है। ये तो आप कहती हैं ना। ठीक है, ठीक है।
I would just say, चलिए छोड़ देते हैं उसे यहीं रहने।
चलें यही रहने दें, चलें, ठीक है, ठीक। अगला लफ्ज है संजीदगी। अब आप कहेंगी ये भी मेरे में
जी,
नहीं। संजीदगी,
या
संजीदगी,
सॉरी
सीरियसनेस।
फिर, संजीदगी, um, सोच समझ के, like decision.
डिसीजन
I
मेकिंग, संजीदा डिसीजन लेना चाहिए,
somebody,
बिल्कुल।
हाँ, somebody said to me, जैसा एक है हमारे फ्रेंड, उन्होंने कहा था कि जब कोई डिसीजन लेना होता है ना, अच्छी तरह सोचो उसके बारे में,
हाँ,
मेक योर डिसीजन
एंड
संजीदगी
देन
से,
स्टिक टू इट।
and then
बिल्कुल,
don't look back,
डोंट लुक
don't
बैक,
look
स्टिक
back.
टू इट, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल ऐसे, बिल्कुल ऐसे ही है। अगला लफ्ज है ड्राइवर।
ड्राइवर क्या कहते हैं, वो जो साइड पे बैठे होते हैं बहुत तंग करते हैं आपको, जो ड्राइवर, बैक सीट ड्राइवर, दैट्स व्हाट आई थिंक ऑफ,
हाँ, बैक सीट
pain in the neck.
ड्राइवर, ओह माय गॉड, बहुत इरिटेटिंग होते हैं बैक सीट ड्राइवर्स जो है, सही बात है।
मेरे वाले साइड पे बैठे होते हैं।
सही बात है, बिल्कुल ठीक है। अगला लफ्ज है दोस्ती। दोस्त नहीं, दोस्ती, फ्रेंडशिप।
तो दोस्ती, खुशकिस्मती,
खुशकिस्मती, बिल्कुल सही है। लीडर,
इमरान खान।
हाय 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 हाय, क्या बात है, वाह। बॉस, बॉस,
बॉस,
हम्म,
बॉस,
इतनी ठंडी सांस क्यों भरी, सर्दी यहाँ तक आई है।
बॉस मैं कहती हूँ न्यू इकोनॉमी, नो नीड फॉर अ बॉस।
नो नीड फॉर अ बॉस, न्यू इकोनॉमी, बिल्कुल ठीक है। अगला लफ्ज है ब्लैक, काला।
ब्लैक, मुझे क्या आता है, कहते हैं there's different universes, let's just say fourth universe, कहते हैं कि एक जगह है like in our universes where it's completely black and when you're over there you can access everything, everything.
क्या बात, क्या बात,
Yes.
ठीक ठीक। नेक्स्ट वर्ड है निहारी।
मुझे नहीं अच्छी लगती।
नहीं, अच्छी नहीं लगती आपको, ठीक है, गुड। अगला लफ्ज है वक्त, टाइम।
It's imagination, it's a figment of our imagination. Time कहते हैं कि है नहीं, there's no such thing as time.
There's no such thing as time, ठीक है, बिल्कुल सही। और आखिरी दो अल्फाज हैं, उनमें से एक लफ्ज है दिल।
दिल,
जी।
oh my god, dil, so the heart, it is actually, मैं कहना कुछ चाह रही हूँ, life, कहते हैं कि you know we think our brain tells the heart what to do but it's actually the heart that tells the brain what to do. So आजकल I'm studying a lot about the heart and I really think it's like, let's just say supernatural intelligence.
सुपरनेचुरल इंटेलिजेंस, बिल्कुल ठीक है, बिल्कुल ठीक है। और आखिरी लफ्ज है पाकिस्तान।
लंबी, can we, does it have to be a word?
नहीं, you can say anything.
क्योंकि पाकिस्तान भी मेरे लिए ना एक एहसास है, it's like I think about Pakistan and I just एक experience को describe करना मुश्किल होता है, so it's just Pakistan is, well, Canada is home too, so I don't mean to minimize this, but Pakistan truly, Pakistan has so much potential. So for me, Pakistan is just एक एहसास है, अपनापन का एहसास।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, ये था UNQ. I hope you liked it, Asfa. We don't tell our guests about this segment, और सरप्राइज लेकर के आते हैं हम, and it's on a very lighter note because हम serious discussion करते हैं और उसके बाद में this is a neutralizer actually to bring the retention power in people so that they can smile and they can enjoy the show as well. बहुत शुक्रिया, मुझे उम्मीद है कि आपको ये पसंद आया होगा। ग्रेट कमेंट्स, आखिरी कुछ कमेंट्स हैं वो ले लेते हैं। बहुत शुक्रिया, बहुत शुक्रिया। और वाहिद हारून साहब ने कहा कि जी थैंक्स फॉर काइंड वर्ड्स फॉर मेडिकल fraternity, thank you so much जी, बहुत शुक्रिया। हसन, there is always absolutely। हसन सैयद भाई कह रहे हैं कि आसफा, how can we get you as a mentor for Startup Pakistan program? चलें जनाब, another opportunity knocks, Asfa, and Hassan bhai, I'm sure that Asfa will be a great asset for that. I would definitely wouldn't think twice to recommending Asfa for that. Definitely, please do connect. After the show, I'm going to connect two of you, inshallah, on Facebook Messenger, and then you can get started from there. But thank you so much, Asfa.
LinkedIn and Facebook as well. So
absolutely.
Thank you, Ajay.
Yeah.
Thank you. You can please connect. It would be my honor.
Absolutely. So what's your final message, Asfa, related to today's topic? What you're going to say?
Related to this topic is...
And the show.
And the show. First of all, thank you. You are absolutely amazing. Thank you. And I would just say that आगे बहुत कुछ करने वाला है. You know, we as a humanity are hurting right now, I believe. A lot of times I see things on TV and I just say, how are we allowing some of these things to happen around the world to our fellow people, God's people? So, and I think it does all start, sometimes we look at the big picture and we say, what impact can I have? But in fact, we do all look from what we can do on our own scale, but then always be looking for opportunity to, to give back. And I really, I'm going to be, inshallah, I will be putting things out there. I'm very serious about what I'm working on, the Return on Humanity Framework, the Global Wellness Target. और वो ऐसी चीज है कि होगी कि basically globally people from around the world will be able to participate, and is to have hope. And I think at the end of the day, everything comes back to our faith in God. It's really interesting because जो मेरी खुदा की understanding है, I've actually come to it from a very scientific perspective. लेकिन अब उसकी वजह से मुझे ऐसे, I feel like I've gone from hope, faith, and belief to knowing that there is someone there, and he has built in the fail-safe systems. He will not let us destroy his humanity. And all of these things, COVID, it was a push towards something that needed to happen. So on a daily basis, take time for yourself. Just believe in possibility, create a vision, and then just go like it's already done.
That's it. That's it. Well said, Asifa. Thank you so much on behalf of Dream Television, the Aijaz Qureshi Show, myself, my entire team who helps me to run this show, all my co-hosts from Islamabad, Sadakat Nubeen, from Karachi, Aijaz Qureshi, from Toronto area, Dr. Tahir Awan and Dr. Nishi Khan, all those viewers who have watched and commented either on Facebook Live or on our YouTube channel, or those who will be watching this show recording according to their local time zones and commenting later on. Thank you so much for hopping on the show and sharing lots of great information about the topic. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
Viewers, that was Asifa Baig all the way from Toronto, and I'm sure that you have liked today's show. I'm always ears to hear your comments and thoughts about the show. How did we do on this show? Your comments are really appreciated. Until next time, thank you so much for joining the Aijaz Qureshi Show. I'll be back again with another great guest and a great topic. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.